Okay.
All right, what's up? This is Chris with Pacific Rim. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
What the laughing? You made me nervous right there. What's the laughing?
No, it was just Chris with Pacific Rim. It was just struck me as funny all of a sudden. All right, there you go.
Okay, good. Well, introduce yourself, by the way.
I'm Hal Sparks. People may know me from Queer as Folk or Dude, Where's My Car? I think those are the two pivotal archetypes in my acting career.
Well, you don't seem gay in person. You're not, right?
Well, first of all, no, I'm not.
No, because your character on I watched the show. I know all about Queer as Folk. Your character was like gay.
Yes. Well, he wasn't flamboyant, I don't think. I'm not gay. I don't think there's a way to necessarily seem gay. I mean, I think I have an astounding gaydar, as apparently do you. But I think there are a lot of gay people who walk amongst us who don't show at all, as it were. They're growers, not showers, let's just say. Right.
No, I have a question because, something that a lot of people deal with in the gay and lesbian community, your character played someone that dated someone that had HIV. Now, is that something that you had to research that role? Did you talk to anybody who's gone through that, or how did you get? Because you played it really well.
Thanks. There really was no way for me to. There's no way for me to pretend to be someone in a situation where they're afraid of coming out based on what other people's experiences of coming out is. There was no way they could relate it to me in a way that I could do it. But what I could do was take the natural alienation that I think a lot of people feel in social situations or when they're in love with somebody who maybe isn't in love with them, and those kind of all the stuff we've all been through as people, gay, straight, or otherwise, and use that emotion and then just infuse that in there. Because I think the truth is, and I think the message of the show is, we share a lot more than we are different. Yeah. And that, that's one of the issues in the equality issue with marriage equality and stuff, is the idea that the right likes to use the term homosexual a lot because that's their way of compartmentalizing and saying it's all about sex and that's all that matters, when we're talking about deep, long-lasting relationships. I've had deep, long-lasting relationships, and so I can play any character that's had those because I can relate, and I think it's much easier in that respect.
And when doing the show, did you realize what a huge success it was going to be? Because it's like that kind of like gay, like Sex and the City is for a lot of women. Like Queer as Folk was such a huge thing for the gay community.
It was touch and go the entire time we were on. I mean, we shot the first 8 episodes before even one had aired because that's how the season was wearing. Yeah. And there was a question at one point of whether we would be aired at all, whether the show was ever going to make it on the air.
Yeah,
and because of the Brian-Justin relationship in the pilot, and the legality aspect of that, and how it would be, how Showtime. And remember, Showtime at that point had not had a TV hit at all. They had not. They didn't have Dexter. They didn't have Californication. They didn't have any of those things. So that was new to them too, and we were jumping in with both feet. I got to give them a lot of credit for really being very bold in that respect. And so each year we didn't know if we were going away. Yeah. If somebody was going to come after us. We got death threats from right-wing.
I'm not surprised.
Christians, and they were going to show up at our autograph signings and kill us and blah blah blah, stuff that thankfully never came to bear, but was always an option. So it wasn't like shooting a couple seasons of CSI or something. It was a tooth pull at times, and it had to be because of the nature of the show.
Now, do you think now or anytime soon that a show like yours will ever be aired on regular TV, or is it always going to have to go to an HBO or Showtime that's kind of like extreme cable?
No, I think the homosexual aspect, absolutely. At a certain point, it will be very normal to it. The amount of sex, though, no way. And that's the interesting part. We have no problem with violence in this culture. You can see, I think it was Lenny Bruce who said, show a naked breast on television and you go to jail. Cut it up and you get $1 million. Yeah. And that's really the problem. I mean, if you look at most of the shows that rerun on A&E and most of the shows that you see on kind of like from Lost to the CSIs to any of those shows, you can show the most horrific murders, but you can't show two people loving each other in a very intimate way. It's just, that's too much. Yeah. And so in the short answer is yes, I think eventually there will be shows that portray gay people as openly and as fully as our show did in a very normal, balanced amount. But will we ever see gay sex or straight sex with that extremity? No. Yeah.
And were you somebody that, because obviously you're out here, you support equal rights, is that something that you were a part of beforehand, or when you were on the show, was it kind of like you understood a little bit more? Or?
No, it was, the truth is I got more attention for it after the show, obviously, but I was involved with Project Angel Food and the AIDS Walks and all those things well before, when I was growing up, I grew up in Kentucky. I had 4 best friends that I hung out with all the time, my little gang of friends. 2 of them came out as gay. 50% of my friends in childhood.
Well, that's 50% of Kentucky.
Right, exactly. And well, they had to leave the state to come out.
Oh, yeah.
That's very telling. But so I knew them, and I never had an issue with them being them.
Yeah.
And so it was a great thing to finally be involved in a show and go, this is very natural to me. I can do this show unflinchingly.